radio talk show. The Savage Nation, home of borders, language, culture. And here he is, winner of the National Radio Hall of Fame Award, Michael Savage.
It's a tale of two Americas today, the government and the Democrats. There's an actual government that's functioning, doing its job, signing legislation one day after another, and then there are the Democrats. We have the winner and the losers. We have hysterical, hateful, liberal women screaming the most vulgar, imaginable phrases, accusing Trump of being vulgar and then outdoing him with vulgarity on a level you could never imagine except on HBO. Hysterical, hateful, liberal women and the real hardworking mothers of America. It's a tale of two Americas, and we're going to talk about that today. Here's a little side note, since it's the week of the women. Remember Valerie Jarrett, the suspicious lady who was behind Obama? And then no one knew who she was until you looked into it and found out she had an Iranian connection. The father was deeply enmeshed in the Muslim Brotherhood, Iranian politics. We knew that she was steering Obama away from Israel, away from America, away from our allies, and towards our worst enemies. Well, she was just rewarded. She was rewarded by signing with the biggest talent agency in Hollywood called Creative Arts Agency. That's right. Valerie Jarrett, none other than Valerie Strange Woman Jarrett, was just signed by CAA. Wait, it gets even better. Who else did they sign? Last week, CAA signed former Senator Barbara Boxer. God knows for what. I haven't any idea what they could use Barbara Boxer for. But that's an example of the Hollywood Democrat complex and how it has ruined the entire world. It has poisoned the minds of hundreds of millions of people around the planet with pornography, with violence, with anti-Americanism, anti-family, anti-God, anti-religion, anti-mother, anti-father, anti-straight, anti-white, anti-male, anti-Christian. That's what it's been doing for a long time now. And they're getting more powerful by the day. They have brainwashed so many women in particular that what I'm about to play for you would have to go down in the annals of people who are totally insane and suicidal, who on the face of it seem to be healthy, normal people. Here is a DNC candidate, Sally Boynton Brown, an Idaho Democrat, who gives a little speech saying at the forum that white people need to shut our mouths and that her job is to shut other white people down. Now, of course, the blacks on the podium with her, with the permanently aggrieved faces, lit up with great smiles when she said that. You know the permanently aggrieved face that some people use? Well, two of them sitting behind her had the permanently aggrieved face. You know the one I'm talking about. But when she said that I'm a white woman and I don't get it, and white people need to shut our mouths, and my job is to shut other white people down, suddenly the aggrieved faces became beaming, happy faces. So here's an example of a mad woman. This is an example of how far the brainwashing has gone in the United States of America. This is a woman who wants to run the Democrat National Committee, and I hope she does, by the way. I pray to God she has my vote. I pray that this woman wins and runs the DNC, because she'll do such a great job that in the next election they'll lose by maybe 20 million votes. Even people of color won't vote for Democrats after this. Because any person of color who has a brain and isn't insane understands that anyone who puts down their own race in such a manner is totally unfit for the job. But listen to this woman who on the face of it is a good-looking, nice, married woman in clip number 1, because you're not going to believe what you're going to hear.
My job is to listen and be a voice. And my job is to shut other white people down when they want to interrupt. My job is to shut other white people down when they want to say, oh, no, I'm not prejudiced. I'm a Democrat. I'm accepting. My job is to make sure that they get that they have privilege. And until we shut our mouths and we listen to those people who don't, and we lift our people up, so that we all have equity in this country, so that we're all fighting alongside.
Oh, shut up. Just shut up. Go back to your yoga studio, idiot. What do you mean, our people? Here's a white woman saying, my job is to, we listen, we lift our people up. Now she's already channeling someone other than herself. This is insanity. Listen to me carefully. There was a woman like this named Amy Beal, God rest her soul, a young white girl brainwashed by liberal white parents into thinking that the white race was evil. A lifetime of brainwashing their daughter sent her to South Africa to help the poor oppressed South African blacks, so she thought. Well, Amy Beale was riding around in one of those towns or villages with some African friends when a mob came to the car to kill her. And the African friends screamed at the mob, "No, no, no, don't drag her out of the car. She's one of us." Didn't stop the mob from tearing her out of the car and beating Amy Beale to death with rocks and killing her. That's the beginning of the tragic story. But the rest of the tragic story needs to be told. When Amy Beale's parents went to retrieve her battered body to bring it home to the States to bury it, this is their daughter, they said they understood the mob's rage. Now, you have to understand how deeply ingrained self-hatred is in the mind of the white liberal. You have to understand how suicidal the white liberal is. And once you do, you'll come to understand that it was God's will that Donald Trump won the election. As flawed as he is, as imperfect as he is, as bumptious as he is, as this and that, it was God's will that he won this election. Because I can guarantee you, had he lost, you would not be seeing the issues that we are seeing being signed on a regular basis. Such good things are happening in this country so quickly that it's hard for the left to even follow the bouncing ball. But now I want to play for your listening displeasure the next speech from DNC candidate Sally Boynton Brown, Democrat from Idaho. Listen to this very carefully. Listen to her put down the white people in her own state in clip 3.
Please, 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 this is a conversation I want to have, and I am from Idaho. We are so white. So white, right? Like, I have been reaching out and trying to connect to anybody of color that I can find, to be honest with you. I am not a politician. I am a human being.
All right, we heard enough of this sick person. Reaching out to anybody of color? What an insult that is. Hello, are you a person of color? Can I reach out to you? Oh, you're a person of color. You must be superior to me. Can I reach out to you? I'm a human being. Actually, I'm not a human being. I'm a white woman. I have privilege. I'm no good. I'm reaching out to you. You're a person of color. Are you anybody of color? Does anyone understand how endemically sick this speech is? Do you have any idea? I know it's freedom of speech. She can say what she wants. But she's crazy. Do you understand what crazy is? This should be entered into the DSM. That's the Psychiatrist's Manual of Mental Disorders. In 2006, I wrote a book called Liberalism is a Mental Disorder. Well, I was an early diagnostic expert on this issue. And as I watched it, I've seen this disease become even worse. Liberalism is not just a mental disorder. It's a very seriously dangerous mental disorder because it has now become a suicidal mental disorder. And the first rule of psychiatry is to judge whether the patient will hurt themselves or hurt others. By definition, liberals who speak this way are now verging on suicide. It's self-immolation. They want to spray lighter fluid on themselves verbally and set themselves on fire in front of people of color. And as I said to you, it was embarrassing to watch the two folks who were not white on the stage, who had the aggrieved faces, the permanently aggrieved look. You know the one I'm talking about. Injured, damaged, oppressed face. You know the one that's used to get ahead in this country. And the minute she said that she was no good and she wants to teach white people to shut up, I don't know how it happened so quickly, but the folks of color on the stage went from being, it appeared to me, permanently aggrieved to immediately happy. They had happy clown faces on that I didn't know existed underneath the aggrieved face. They were happy to hear a white woman say that she needs to tell other white people to shut up. Well, we heard a lot of that on stage in Washington over the weekend, didn't we? We heard the failing old piece of jungle fruit rotting on the jungle floor by the name of Madonna. She's like an old piece of guava that you would step around in a rainforest for fear of getting it on your shoe. More vile than you can imagine. And then we heard another creature, Ashley Judd. She was so disgusting and vile that I would say it bordered on mental illness. We also have for your listening displeasure today many, many other things on topics that you may be interested in. But the main question is this. Why have Democrats become so anti-white? This is what I'd like to know. Did they not just understand that they took a shellacking at the polls because of their anti-white rhetoric, and that's why Hillary lost? They're shocked to find out that white women, at the last minute, fled to Donald Trump. Why did they do that? Why do you think that 53% of white women voted for Trump? Could it be that they're the 53% of white women who understood that their sons, particularly their sons, were targeted for extinction, and that if Hillary won, they would be made into non-citizens? Do you have any idea what happened in this election? I think you do. 46% of women overall voted for Trump. 53% of white women voted for Trump. Why do you think that happened? They finally awakened to the fact that although he was imperfect, he was their last chance to save their children from this insanity. An insanity that on a level I've never seen in my lifetime. Now, do you believe that the Democrats have become anti-white? Of course they have. But the question is, why have the Democrats become so exclusively oriented towards minorities? Do I have to spell it out? Here are some other topics. Trump and his people are saying that he actually won the popular vote, that 5 million illegals voted. Guess what? I said it first. Not only did I say it in my last two books, Government Zero, I also said it in Scorched Earth. But I said it after the election. I was the first one to say it on radio. Don't tell me anyone else did. I'm taking credit for my own insights. Yes, millions of illegal aliens voted. Now, what's happening with the media is they're saying, go prove it. Prove to us that illegal aliens voted. You're a liar, Donald Trump or Sean Spicer. Well, I would say to the doubting Thomases and Thomasettes out there, how can we prove it when you have forbidden us to have voter ID in America? You have forbidden us to even know whether the person who is voting is that person, or whether that person belongs in this country legally or illegally. So I would turn it back on you and say, you prove to me that 5 million or 10 million did not vote. You prove to me that they didn't vote. But you can't do that. And you know why? Because you won't let us have what every nation on earth that is sane has, which is voter ID. A few other topics I have to get to before the first break.